He was very excited, exciting. The energy was, he was there. It's been, I think, like 3 years that we've been talking about this fight, and to get to meet each other in person, and even though the fight is far from happening, but it's still possible that it can happen. So yeah, I mean, and for each other, I think we respect each other as an athlete. There's this rivalry. Everybody want to know who is the biggest dog in the room, but we do respect each other. So it's good.
You say, a lot would still have to happen. Could it happen though? It seems like you want it to happen, and it seems like the PFL does, and he does. There's one hurdle, but do you think deep down inside that this could eventually happen? Because it could be the biggest fight of all time.
I think so. Um, I think the UFC have to figure it out and get to a point to figure out that some stuff can be done, maybe cross promotion, in order to give the fans what they want to make this fight happen. And as soon as they get that, as soon as they decide to give that to the fan, everything will be okay, because all the parties are down for the fight except one.
No disrespect to Masvidal or Diaz or Poirier or Gaethje with this BMF belt, but it seems like the two baddest men on the planet, maybe like a BMP belt, should be on the line to show who is the baddest man on the planet right now.
Exactly. I think that's between us. I mean, yes, it's cool, the the BMF belt, but it's not the BMF.
What did you think? Just seeing John, the size, he's much bigger probably than the last time you saw him in person. What did you think physically of Jon Jones, the heavyweight?
Physically, well, I think John has always been a heavyweight. I think because he has to cut a lot of weight to go down to light heavyweight. Um, I think him getting on some side, I don't know what was the dilemma, but for me, um, I will I would say I am more comfortable with the heavy Jon Jones than the Jon Jones of light heavyweight, because of course he get a like impressive performance against Syrian Gan, but like for the first minute, the first interaction in striking, it didn't look good. I mean, he was kind of he wasn't on point as sharp as in light heavyweight. And for me, that's the best. That's the best. I want John heavy. I want him a heavier if he can put us even more side, you know. So
He said to you, for us to fight, you got to work on your wrestling, you got to work on jujitsu. But he's never felt the power of anyone like you. With all due respect to Cyril Gahn and all the light heavyweights, is that correct? That he doesn't know what he's getting in there with the Predator's power as well.
I think he didn't really know what to say at that point, to start to like be coaching me about like my wrestling or my jujitsu. He was kind of like out of something to say. But once again, he never faced a guy like me, a real side heavyweight. I mean, that could have been Syringan, but Syringan didn't have any response for him as far as wrestling concerned, which is something that I'm gonna be I'm gonna be handling, and he's not running to me into me like he ran into Cyril, because I think Siri was a perfect profile to run into, because you know that there wasn't a threat, like an immediate threat. He's not a guy that's gonna knock you out with one shot, so you can shoot and get in. And if along the way you get like 1, 2 punch, but you get a hold on him, it's okay. But in with a guy that can shut you out with one punch, I think you're gonna think twice before take that kind of risk, before be as reckless.
If the two of you ever get in the smart cage or the octagon or whatever on the street, what's your prediction for the fight? How does that fight go down between Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou?
If two of us ever get into a fight, I think he's gonna experience something that he never does. I mean, I know he been training with a lot of heavyweight, but you know, when you put heavyweight, I'm like kind of like heavyweight, something that's very difficult. I have watched his before his fight against Siringan, even at light heavyweight. I mean, he was kind of like struggling sometimes, and then I imagine like, okay, let's put some more on top of that. He's gonna be having a lot of trouble. So
You're knocking him out. That's the goal.
that's the goal. That's always the goal. You know what it is. It's a knockout. Obviously, if I have something else, I'll keep fighting. If I have something else, I will take it. But the goal is to knock him out, make him feel that power. Yeah, I think the Deontay one is more realistic to happen even than a Jon Jones, because before they have an offer of Anthony Joshua, I think in December, we were in conversation of having like a one boxing match, one MMA match, and probably one of those in Africa, and all parties were down. We were very far deep into this conversation, so that's something that is more to happen maybe before the Jon Jones fight or something.
And that definitely interests you. Could he be the first fight in PFL? Could Deontay be in the new division?
No, I don't think. No, he cannot be the first fight, because he might be fighting in December, and by the time we will be having an opening for me already, and not enough time for him to like come to MMA, because if we're fighting, I think we're fighting boxing first in order to give him some time for his wrestling and everything.
How much
Which,
respect? How much respect we saw the MMA fighters that go box these guys, but to see somebody wanting and willing to do it on both sides, you would probably have a lot of respect for Deontay to what he would show to get in there with you.
of course, like, and I was even saying this. I was even saying this during our conversation. I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? Because okay, I understand that you want to play it fair, but it's gonna be a hard time. So maybe we can just stick in boxing and do two boxing fight, or maybe like trying to do some sort of like rule, some sort of hybrid rules. But you getting into MMA, that's something that I'm gonna give you, take my hats off for you.